Hey guys, this is day 87 of startup. In the last video, I talked about how reading books is a waste of time for entrepreneur because we just need very specific information and we cannot read the entire book. In this video, I want to highlight another problem with reading books is that most of the books do not fit, like the content of the books, what they are saying do not fit your context in terms of where you are and in what time period you are in time and place. It doesn't fit, and because of that we do a lot of bad choices, bad decisions if we follow these books. Any writer who writes a book writes based on his experience and the people he has met, people he has interviewed, and all of these people, they belong to a certain place in a certain time. Maybe it's a historical period, maybe it's 1960, maybe it is 2000, and the technology space is such a fast moving space that even 2 to 3 years old knowledge will not work now. Interestingly, American investors are very aware of this. The people I have talked to in Silicon Valley, they always preface or post phrase their sentences with, "Oh, I may not be current with this information," because they know, like, the concepts that were valid at their time may not be valid now. So it's not like authors of the books are misguiding us, but most of these books do not contain information in the text about where it is based and at what period it is based. Of course, you can find out from the publication date, but how many of us really look into the publication date? And most of the books will be 2 or 3 years old that we will pick up. And for example, on a more technical level, just pick up any book on machine learning. It will not have all the cutting edge things that are going on since last 1.5 years on around LLMs, around image generation, and it will just blabber on the old information on recurrent neural networks, which is hardly used anymore in any of the applications which people are developing nowadays. So uh, of course, in the technical sense, it is much easier to see, but when it comes to business, culture, and psychological aspects, we do not see that as obviously. I have been victim of this problem for a very long time. So I was in India before, and in India, I tried to emulate the entrepreneurs of America, and a lot of people are doing that probably in India. Our role models are Steve Jobs, and or at least at that time used to be Steve Jobs and Bill Gates, and nowadays it's Elon Musk and maybe Jeff Bezos. But we forget that the place where they are and maybe the time in which they made their fortune was very different. And particularly, for example, in my case, eh, India is a place where, at least when I started, nobody buys software, and even today, very, very, very few people buy software. Like, still, there's zero software market. There are a lot of other level of problems. People are uneducated. A lot of people are uneducated. They need to first learn to read and write before they start using internet. So it's a very limited market and a very different perspective. But I was, as a startup guy, I got into this software business, trying to do a software business in India, which was, of course, not working out for me. And I was just continuing to read these American books because most of the books on internet, on famous books, are written by American authors. And this thing that it is written by American authors and may not be applicable to me, it doesn't come very obvious when you're reading these books, and you have to be just aware of this. If not books, then what is the right way really to find information that you need? Because as a startup, as an entrepreneur, you are actually venturing into a domain which is completely unknown, and you definitely need information from others' experience. So what is book? Book is a experience that you get from someone more knowledgeable than you, someone who has that experience that you are looking for. So this I learned around 2017 or 18, that instead of reading books, much more valuable is to actually interact with people who are doing the same things that you are doing or you are wanting to do. So try to find people, try to chase them, whatever you can do to just get them as your mentors. And in this mentorship game, you can actually find some juniors or some people who are actually making much less money than you as mentors if they're good at the thing that you are looking for. So business can be a, it's a very multifaceted thing. So yes, maybe as an entrepreneur, You may not find a successful entrepreneur in your network, but you can certainly find people who are more successful than you as a salesperson, people who are better than you in technology. And this is how you learn about what is going on right now and in the place. So basically, if you are doing a startup in Berlin, then what is happening in Silicon Valley will not help you too much. So blogs of Paul Graham will not help you that much if you can actually get some local entrepreneur and take his advice. Books can still find a place in your life for opening up your mind and feeding your brain with ideas. But of course, that's what you need to be aware of.